So with further ado, I want to introduce my guest of the day, Angie Stewart. So hey, Angie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, and it's great to be here. And let's get cracking on and share some secrets with a few people.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to say, because, this is kind of cool. It's actually 4:47 a.m. here in California. I think it's like 12 or 1 Angie's time, but this has become our time, dude. At like 4 a.m. we get together because of difference in times. But what I wanted to, Angie, so let's start with this. I want to, and then, let me make sure you have power. I want to give you the power over here. Let's make sure you're the co-host. Because what I'd like to do, Angie, today, I know we've been working on my site, and I can't wait to release it to the world. And so you really educated me and showed me, where, and I thought I had a pretty cool site, honestly. Be real. I knew that I'd spent a lot of money, and a lot of it I got taken, and I went through several web designers, but this last site I thought was pretty cool. But now when we look at the before and after, it is so far from cool. And even on the outside, I thought a lot of stuff that I thought was really cool, you immediately showed me how bad it was. So, what I'd like to do is, if we could, have you share the screen, let's go to my site, my old site first. And let's walk through it and see where I messed up, or not me, where I was taking advantage of, whatever. So can we do that?
Yeah, we certainly can. So let me share away, and we should have a blank Firefox search box. Is that what you're seeing? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So what I'm basically going to do for you today is give you my reaction to Rial's old site. There's a lot of sites out there that aesthetically look good. And today I'm not really taking you through the look of the site. I'm really doing more of a technical audit with you, because a lot of sites can actually look really good, but when it comes to search engines and it comes to the way Google looks at it, it's very, very different, because they're reading the code. They're reading it in a different way than we are visually looking at it. So there's a few steps that I do when I first meet somebody and look at their website. So let's start off by typing in Rial's site. Okay, and here we go. So we've got an overall look, and there's quite a few pop-ups going on. We've got a top one up here. There was one, and there's another one as well. Okay, pop-ups. Before I go on to the technical audit, pop-ups can be great, but you really have to be careful that you don't overdo it, because they can be very distracting. And for some people, they could actually be enough. Too many of them could be enough for them to go, whoa, I can't cope with this. I'm going to disappear off, and basically I'm going to just close things down because I just don't want to know. So there's a time and place for pop-ups, and it's a case of keeping them to a minimum. That would be my first bit of advice, is just be careful about using them. So if we close down a few of these things, so they're not going to bother us again. The first technical bit that I would look for is this little green padlock up at the top left of the screen. Now, excuse me if I get my left and right mixed up occasionally. Follow the mouse. My husband always follows the hand when I use my left and right. So occasionally I might get that wrong. But over on the left-hand side here, we have this little green padlock. Excuse me. Now, this is probably 18 months, 2 years ago now, where Google and other search engines started, but particularly Google, started talking about secure sites. This is what's known as an SSL. It's a secure certificate. And it basically shows Google that you've implemented a little bit of software with your hosting company to take it through a credibility. So if somebody decides to pass on to you some of their data in some way, shape or form, in a contact form, or maybe it's a payment data of some kind, that it's encrypted in such a way that it can't be accessed by third parties. Now, Google, around probably 6 months ago, I think it was middle of last year, and I'm talking 2018 there, they basically started saying, if your site's not secure, then we won't always display it. And it certainly is going to impact where you appear in the search engines. So that's a tick box. for Riel's site is that green padlock is there. So
Can
if
I ask
your
you a
site,
quick question, Angie,
yeah,
about that? Now,
yeah,
sometimes you go, I mean, and you get this warning that basically says, run, get out of here.
yes,
Is that from Google, or because sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. What determines whether we get past them?
that if this green padlock wasn't there, then that basically is the Google warning saying this site is not secure. Are you sure you want to go and visit this site? And it gave a lot of warning to a lot of web designers and a lot of people to get this in place. Now, sometimes it displays it, sometimes it doesn't. I can't answer as to why it chooses not to display that warning every time it displays a site that's not secure, but I'm seeing it more and more often nowadays. And the more that happens, that is going to impact your position on Google, because it's going to cause people to arrive, well, not even get to your site. They're going to click away from it and they're not going to go near it. They'll be concerned. Privacy issues, security issues, hacking, it's become far more prominent in the last sort of probably 2 or 3 years. So people are very hesitant nowadays of doing anything when they see a warning of some kind.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's the first thing, because that was a tick box. The second thing I look for is, well, actually, what has Google indexed for your site so far? So in a new tab, I come into just a general search box and I type in the word site, S-I-T-E, followed by a colon, and then I will type in the website address. So we've got realandrews.com, and we press our return, and it gives me a list of all of the pages or posts or items that Google has actually indexed for that website. So it's showing here that I've got 96 results. So if you're listening to the podcast and you can't actually see the screen, it brings up a list of them and it tells me how many results there are. Okay, and what's interesting about this is that partway down this page, we've got a very strange, almost Japanese looking load of numbers and symbols. Do you know anything about that? Do you know what that could relate to?
Well, yes, actually, Angie, I had got hacked, and actually this was all Japanese when it was coming up for a while, but I thought I got rid of it, but obviously I haven't. But that is somebody hacking my website.
Okay, fair enough. So the 2 things you want to look for here? First of all, you want to find results, because if there are no results listed, and recently I did look at somebody's site with them, and it literally only had their homepage listed, nothing else at all. And this website had got the best part of 10 or 15 different pages. But what I'd spotted was that the actual website, when it was handed over from the designer to this gentleman, they actually hadn't properly transferred it over. That it was still effectively a staging site. Now, what was quite scary was that this website was around 18 months old. So he would have hoped that it was starting to be found on Google and starting to get found by anybody doing searches. But it wasn't properly indexed. So it was never going to get found. He was never going to get organic traffic. So at least seeing results on this page is a good start. And you can do this once every 3 to 6 months and check and see if your indexed results are improving, especially if you're releasing new items of content, be a new page or a new blog post or a new article, etc. So that's the first thing.
And Angie, I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in because I say, it's been amazing since we've been working together. How many, I'm talking big company websites we go to, Angie's taken me, or I'll say, because I look for it now, and they don't have that security thing in the top left corner. And then Angie and me, and especially for some of my clients and stuff like that, she's being kind, but pretty much every one of my clients that spend $10, $15, $20,000 on a website were coming to these basic things, and they were having no searches. They weren't having any of this. It was just mind-boggling to me.
It is. It's scary. It's especially when they've paid so much money. I think it's a real shame. Okay. So the second thing that this list of indexed results brings up, and again for the benefit of the podcast listeners, the first item that appears, it has a what I would term as being a headline, which says Riel Andrews, and then a semicolon, colon, and home, and then it has a few words underneath, which is a description of that page. The second one says contact and then hyphen Real Andrews. Ignoring the nice Japanese result, we then move on to blog hyphen and Real Andrews. And then the last one I mentioned is health coaching hyphen Real Andrews. So what I'm seeing here is that none of these pages have actually been configured as a mini headline and a mini sort of description to grab people's attention to make them want to click on it. And that's one of, I view Google search engine optimization as a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. I normally say that, it might be a 100-piece jigsaw puzzle, and every little tweak that you make, from an SSL certificate to other little things, you're putting another piece of the puzzle together. And without those little pieces, you never have the full picture. So if I'm putting a search into Google and I am searching for some form of health coaching, I want the results that appear on page 1. Think about what happens when you do it yourself. You scan down and you'll see a headline that pops out, and it makes it interesting enough for you to then read the description and decide to click on the result and go and visit that page. In exactly the same way as you might pick up a magazine and you'd ruffle through the magazine pages and you'll spot a headline in the magazine that attracts your attention, so you'll go on to read the rest of that article in that magazine. This is exactly the same scenario, but obviously as a page of results on Google. So I would check through those. There is a tool, if you're using a WordPress website, that you can add. And we'll probably put a list of tools against the article when we put this onto the website at some stage.
Wow. And that was eye-opening for me, because obviously, basically, as a matter of fact, just before we got ready to launch my new site, we were doing some before and after things. We're going into, different things like Google Analytics and stuff like that, which is all part of this. And Angie's going to talk more about that. But the number one way I was being searched right now with my old site was for meatballs. Like, it was turkey meatballs or something. I don't even know what that was, which was insane. But, in terms of me, being found for what I'm passionate about, or, being able to get my product to the world and people being able to find me, nothing at all, as you're seeing. I mean, big deal. Contact Real Andrews Home, blog Real Andrews, health coaching, excellence Real Andrews. Nobody's searching for that, as a matter of fact. Do you want to show them really quick, Angie? Like, let's just take one of those terms, like contact Real Andrews, and maybe go to the keyword tool that you use and show how that nobody would be looking for that.
Yeah, I think the best one to click on with that is probably health coaching.
Okay.
So if I click on health coaching just for the moment, we'll have a look at the page. That's interesting as well. Okay, so that's not good. We've got the pop-ups going on again, which is going to drive me to distraction. But for the benefit of the podcast listeners, we've got what's called a 404 error. Okay, now you can actually monitor 404 errors from behind the back of your website, but also there's elements of the Google Search Console and Webmaster Tools that will flag these up to you. So if you haven't got Google Analytics and what was Webmaster Tools, which is now known as the Search Console, if you haven't registered your site with Google, it's free. Get it done, because it will provide you with some great information as to what's going on within your site and what errors could be happening. So if you ever do get a 404 error, there are redirection tools available from within the back of your website to make sure that that goes to a page that works. Because again, there's nothing more annoying than clicking on a result in Google and ending up on a 404 page. You're not finding the information that you've asked for. And a lot of people will simply just click away, or they'll click the back button to get back to the results, and they've bounced off your site. And that is a negative thing as far as Google are concerned.
I was just going to say that. Doesn't Google punish you for those 404s, basically?
It doesn't like 404s. The definition of bounce has changed over the years. What I think is more relevant is the term that I heard more recently is pogoing, which, if you imagine that we're looking at a list of results, so let's open up and do a search for health coaching, which we know is not going to necessarily bring up your site. But But health coaching. So if we were to go down each of the results that we find that come up on Google's first page, and we were to click and then bounce straight back, click the next one and bounce straight back, click the next one and bounce straight back within, you know, a matter of seconds, that will be saying to Google, none of the results that you're showing me for that term are actually relevant to what I want to find out. And Google is all about the user experience. You know, the results that they deliver to the user when they do a search, they want you to arrive on the result, click through and spend time on that site. And the more time you spend on the site, the more you look around that website and visit other pages, Google recognizes that. And the more pages you visit, the more internal links that you click on, it sends a signal back to Google to say, this person likes this website. So this result that Google has delivered to them, they've delivered a good result. So that's the user experience side of things.
Yeah, and one thing I want to, taking it, you're in the UK, we're in here, but I'm going to take a chance because, and I just want to show you Champions the difference. So as you can see, we were at my other site, Health Coaching. You can see I'm nowhere to be found right here. You cannot see me anywhere. Well, with the new site, one of the niches, wherever you are, that we've been working on, and we're going to check this out. We're going to see through the tools that Angie has shown me, through the combination of what I do with the video marketing and together with the new, all the stuff that she put on the site. Angie, go ahead and type in Google, type in Z-I-L-I-S, hemp review, or is it hemp review? I think it's hemp review. It might be CBD hemp review.
Yeah, we'll try that one first, but there you go.
Boom, right there. Look at who is the #1 video on the first page of Google, and that's where you want to be. And that's the difference of using the tools that Angie has blessed me with and combining it with the video and stuff that I teach people and putting it on a site. So that's just one example, huge difference. So when people want to look for this, look who's #1. And if you go over to videos real quick, Angie, click on the video tab, #1 right there. But the real big one, as Angie taught me, is when you go to all, because that's really what's impressive. When you come up right there, you want to be one of those 3 videos and be in the stuff. So
yeah, because not that many people would actually click through the individual tabs and go to the video tab. So that's the importance of actually being found on the front page for all results.
Yay, Angie. All right, let's get back into it. So what's in that? What other things are we going to look for?
So as I say, if you're not sure if Google Analytics is actually installed on your website, one of the things that you can do is open your website up. You can right click view page source, and you're going to look at this and think, oh my God, what have you opened me up to? But there's a simple thing, Control and F on a PC. I'm not sure what it's on a Mac, but it opens up a little box in the bottom left-hand corner. And for Google Analytics, it's the letters UA and then hyphen. And that will provide us with all of the matches for that UA hyphen in this horrible text that you won't understand. So if I just click the little chevron down, it's going to take me, and there we've got a Google Analytics. It says Google Analytics there, and we've got a Google UA actual number, which is the number for Real's site. So we know that Google Analytics is installed. And it's incredibly important because any changes you make to your website, any tweaks that you do at any time, you need to know that they are effective. You need to know that they're making a difference. So at least having Google Analytics installed, it will track over time. It will track how many visitors you're getting. It will track how many people bounce off your site. It will even show you sometimes it will show you some of the search terms that people have actually used to find your site. And that's where we came across, when we were looking at it the other day, your nice turkey meatballs or whatever it was phrase. That's where we found that. So we've taken a snapshot of that because that's based on the old site. And in a few months' time, we'll have a look at the new site and see how much those search terms have changed and have we made a difference? Are people starting to find you for different words and phrases?
Now, Angie, one of the things we talked about before, I don't have it on here, but I was all gung-ho, and I see it a lot of people have it on their sites, the infamous slider. And you were telling me how that, so let's talk about that. I don't have it here. but that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Was one of the number one things I wanted was a big slider showing different images and stuff. And so why is that not such a good idea?
Okay. There's still probably pros and cons of having a slider. One of the main things that I see is it will slow your website down. It takes a long time or a lot longer to deliver a slider in terms of the way that it works with code and the script that it has to use. And the longer your site takes to load, then the negative impact it has. So Google want it to load as quickly as possible. And if you think of yourself as a user, then you want sites to load quickly. How many of you have actually gone to a website and sort of twiddled your thumbs because the site's not loading and got bored and clicked away? So it's all about page speed, it's all about delivery speed. And just typically speaking, sliders slow it down.
That's awesome. Now, the other thing, and it's like, to me, to look at it right now, it's like, and Angie, I want you to go through it. I'm going to set you up and point it out, because, yeah, you know what, this looks kind of cool if you didn't know what I know now. Thanks, Angie. But the big difference between this site, and it's all part of SEO, and all of that comes together, which Angie will break down for you. But the big difference from this site to my new site, which we'll show you in a second, is, who is this guy? What does he do? What is he offering? Oh, yeah. You'll believe in me. Where's your call to action? These are all things that Angie was like, you know, and when you go to our new site, you immediately know who I am, you know who I help and how I do it, and how you can get my services. But here, Angie, talk to them about how this is just lacking all that.
Yeah, so you have got a nice tagline. I will believe in you till you believe in yourself. However, for somebody brand new arriving on this page, the sort of what we term is above the fold. And what I mean by above the fold is what appears on your screen, whether it be a PC or a mobile, before you have to scroll down and read on. So right at the top, this is what somebody sees. So yes, we can see up in here in the top that you do coaching. You've got a t-shirt that says, do you want it? Well, it's like, do I want what? And as I say, there's no real call to action. And I carry on scrolling down and I see lots of great things. Yeah, you're as seen on Fox News and Today and NBC, but seen for what? What is it that you do? We then do get to a little bit of it, because we get to motivational speaker, author, and whole health consultant. But I'm still not 100% clear what you're doing or how you're going to help me, especially as none of these have any call to action. So if this had got a button underneath it that said learn more, or this one here it said learn more, then I think it would have been a little bit more appealing, because I would have known what to do. People like to be told what to do next. And at the moment, I'm not being led, other than becoming a champion starts with developing a strategy for your journey. And Real is here to assist with achieving every single step. So it's a positive, I'm going to help you, but help me do what? What's my journey? What journey are you going to help me with? So that's what I'd be looking for is, yes, we've got a get started button, which is great. And that takes you through to an area where you can book to have an appointment with you. But I still don't really know what I'm booking to have an appointment about. We've got some videos that you can watch. This is great. People like to be able to watch videos. You get very differing people in terms of some are readers, some are visual. I'm more of a visual person. I will learn from video as opposed from words. So for me, this was lacking a positive, this is what I'm going to do for you style headline. There's again, thoughts and process. Marketing and a website is marketing. And every time you do something on your website, it is a test. You can never guarantee that you put X on your website, it's going to produce the results you want. You're always tweaking. So my first suggestion here would be to put some form of headline on there that's going to encourage people to take action to get in touch with you. And so you've got the two things going on there, strong positive headline and a call to action. Also as well on here, yes, they can get in touch with you in terms of booking to speak with you. However, there's nothing on this front page that at the moment, other than the pop-up that we cancelled within the first few seconds, that encourages me to give you my email address and for you to stay in touch with me. And the trouble with a pop-up coming up very, very soon, if I'm brand new to your website, I haven't had enough time to get to know you to decide whether or not I want to give you my email address. So if a pop-up comes up too soon, your immediate reaction as a visitor is to close it. And because I've now closed it, and I've not got a form somewhere on here where I can take action, you as a website owner, as somebody offering services, you've lost the opportunity to get my email address from me. Whereas if somewhere on here there was an offer of some kind, whether it be, if you've heard of the term lead magnet, it's just something that you give to people in exchange for their email address. So that's the other thing I'd be looking for, is some way of capturing people's details so that they continue to hear from you.
Yeah, and also, Angie, can you scroll down a little bit? I want to show them what you're going to see when we show you the aftermath. Aftermath sounds, I don't know if that's the right word, because it sounds negative, but it's amazing. You're going to see the different ways that we use pop-ups efficiently, and they're pleasing to you, timing and all of that stuff that Angie showed me and taught me. But also, like, even right here, I wanted to point out, because look at, guys, here's a couple things that you'll see on the new site that's so important to have somebody like Angie who understands SEO, because let's keep it real. Like, you know, this, and I'm one of them, I'll raise my hand. Initially, the website is an ego thing. Look at me, but really, as an entrepreneur, this is so we can get our message to the world and make money, and so we can make more money to change the world and whatever our passions are. Let's keep it real, right? It's really not to just say, look at me, look at me. So when we look at this motivational speaker, we look at author, we look at the whole health consultant, right? You know, it's pretty cool, but through the research that Angie took me through and stuff like that, for example, on the new website where you see whole health consultant, it's going to say menopause. And because we found out that's a term, that's my niche, that's who I am, and that's something people are actually looking for. More importantly, through tools Angie shared with me, it's something that we can own, so that when people go to it, we're going to come up like you just saw recently on the first page of Google. Motivational speaker. It doesn't say motivational speaker anymore, you know, so like a Black motivational speaker, because I am African American, and it's a niche. You know, author isn't even there anymore. But these are very, very important things, guys, that, you know, I've learned, and I don't want you ever to, because I don't want you to spend money there's no ROI. And if you haven't done this research and you're not working with a web designer, and I'm gonna go out on the edge and say 95% of them do not do this, if not more. They can turn you an amazing, cool looking website with all the bells and whistles, and it looks cool and you feel it's great, but it's not doing anything. Would you agree with me, Angie? I mean, I know you're humble, but I mean, let's just keep it real.
What I find a lot of the time is that this page, when we flick across to the site results and we see it says Rial Andrews home, this page, your home page, has not been configured to try and be found for a specific term, and that's one of the things that I regularly find. It's that either you see an essay on the top of here, which is just ridiculously long, and then you get all these dots on the end, and it doesn't make sense, or you just see home, blog, contact, etc. And you need to be telling Google what you want to be found for, but you can only pick one thing per page. So whilst you might have several different products and services, that dictates the need to have several different individual products and services style pages, especially if they are big subjects. So we have a page that you'd want to be found for motivational speaker or Black motivational speaker. You have a page that wants to be found for menopause, because you are then able to use other phrases and words throughout that page that helps confirm to Google, yes, this is the phrase I want to be found for. Otherwise, it's like having a book without an index and it's supposed to be a dictionary. It's like, well, how long is it going to take you to flick through that index and find the bit that you want? Because you're giving this big message out to Google that you want to be found for this, and this, and it goes, oh, I'm not going to index you for anything because I don't understand what your key thing is.
And, big learning lesson for me, because I know a lot of people do this because they do, oh, I understand keywords. They find a keyword. Google's smart. What I learned from you, Angie, I can't just like, what do you call that? Keyword spam it. Like just
No.
like use the keyword over and over and over again. That doesn't work either, right? You get penalized.
It used to. Funny enough, years ago, it really did work. And that's when the early days of Google search. And I think people still think that happens. But you used to be able to what we call keyword stuff. So you put it, as you say, in every place possible that you can consider you want to put it, and it would actually help you get found. As long as the competition wasn't too great, because one of the things that you can find is that you can be competing against so many other people. And the more generic your phrase is, if I just took it off the whole, but just said health consultant or health coaching, there are over 500 million results. So that's over 500 million pages and posts, etc., that are competing to be found on Google for that phrase, health coaching.
Wow.
So why would you want to? And it's very generic.
Yeah.
It's if somebody's searching. There's a great example, which would be something. If somebody was searching for health coaching, it's like, well, what type of health coaching are they searching for?
Mm-hmm.
This could be diabetic health coaching. It could just be general, health coaching. I suppose it could be heart health coaching. There are so many different types of health coaching that this as a term is not specific enough. You want to be looking at, okay, if I haven't done this before, but if I just put diabetic health coaching in here, then all of a sudden that 522 million results drops down to 73 million. And it's saying to me, do I mean diabetes? So if I perhaps go to diabetes instead, that drops down again to 27 million. So, there's a big difference between those terms, and somebody's more likely to buy from you when they're being specific about their search.
And also, Angie, learning what I learned from you, if we look at this, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, it did drop it, but absolutely nobody's searching for that term, correct?
No.
So that wouldn't be good either.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be. And this is a matter of you have to spend a bit of time working out what people are searching for. It's interesting though, because 1 in 7 Google searches that are what we call long-term keyword searches, which is 3 words or more, 1 in 7 have never been searched for before on Google. And that really surprised me, because I would have thought that people, search for the same things. But I can give you a prime example. Years ago, I worked with a drum teacher, okay? And this drum teacher, we were trying to work out what to actually, at that time, your domain name also helped with your Google rankings. So we were trying to work out what to call his website. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't really help. It doesn't make any difference. So you're good to use your name or use branding of some kind. Whereas previously it made a difference. So when we were doing the searching, this guy said to me, he said, well, I would search for drum teacher. So we did a search for drum teacher, and he's based in Manchester in the UK. And 10 people a month search for the phrase drum teacher Manchester. It is not particularly exciting, although there's a reverse engineering process I take my clients through to actually look at what volumes are good for them. So after a bit of toing and froing, we actually searched for drum lessons Manchester instead, and the figures jumped up to 140 searches a month, which became more interesting for him as somebody providing services one-on-one. You can only provide so many lessons during the week. But what was even more interesting for me was that he didn't take that as being sort of accurate. He said, but I would search for drum teacher. And I said, I don't care what you would search for. I want to know what your potential prospects or customers search for.
Yes.
And then there's another little thing is, if you take off an S, the power of an S. If we remove the S and go drum lesson.
You're giving them all the gold nuggets for free today.
Well, there we go. If I go to that one, then nobody searches for it.
Wow, just by adding that S or taking the S off.
Adding or taking that S off, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you know, you're so right, Angie. I actually just did a training, just did a masterclass just the other day, and one of the categories that I was teaching on was relevance. It needs to be relevant to your, you know, your avatar, as I call it, because it doesn't matter if it's important. And I said exactly what you said. It doesn't matter if it's important to you. What's important is if it's important to your avatar. So a lot of times we get this great idea, we want to change the world, we want to do a website with this and this and this. And if you don't do this kind of research, you know, not only are you wasting your time and your money, you're never going to get your message to the people that you want to get it to, that you care so much about.
Yeah.
So what else? I know I want to respect your time, but you know, is there a few other nuggets? You're giving some great nuggets, mic drops away today. What else does a person need to know?
I could share a couple of the free tools. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So one of the free tools that you can go to is something called Answer the Public.
My favorite.
And this tool literally does as it says. It's about the questions that people ask. So we've got this lovely guy that's sort of looking a little bit bored on the screen and waiting for us to do something. So let's continue with the theme, and let's put in health coaching in here, if I can spell that correctly. And we'll do a search. We'll get the questions for health coaching. So we have to give it a chance to think about it. So what it's doing is it's basically trawling through the typical searches that people do on the search engines, particularly on Google, and it's come up with this lovely little graph, which is not necessarily that easy to look at. So I'm going to switch it across to the data view, and we've got questions. Is health coaching a good career? Is health coaching covered by insurance? What is health coaching? So it's a great way of finding all of the questions: how to become a health coach, how to get health coaching clients. And you can start to get a feel for what people type in around a specific subject. I did one the other day that I shared on my LinkedIn profile, just as a bit of a helpful thing. And I think it was plumbing that I shared. So if you just, what I'm demonstrating here is it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're in a service industry and you're out there looking to get local clients, then this will throw up a lot of information for you. So we might have how plumbing vent works, how plumbing traps work. Now, these are phrases that people have used to search on Google. And as such, they can actually throw up some really, really interesting phrases for you to include within the copy on your pages. But also, they might throw up a question that you could use as an article. You could literally find the question and use it as an article and answer that question, because you know people are looking for it. You've got muted somehow.
No, I was saying this is crazy. It's also showing, you know what, this is one of my favorite tools, and it was just a click away. I've never actually used this version of it. I always use the big wheel. This is pretty cool. And it shows the volume and search volumes and all of that there. That's kind of crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It can come up with those content ideas that you're looking for, because one of the things that I promote with my clients is the regularity of putting out good quality content, whether it be in the form of a blog post, in the form of an infographic, in the form of video, which, as we know and as you know and you're saying to your clients, is so important at the moment to help you get found.
Awesome. Okay, one more tool.
So
one more tool, and then I'm going to jump over to my site, my new site.
Okay, let's have a look. I would say it's this good old tool called Uber.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Angie taught
me.
So
Uber Suggest is a free tool by Neil Patel. Neil Patel is one of the online marketing SEO gurus. As I would use. If you search online marketing, which is a very generic term. In fact, let's do that. I'll just humor you. We'll go across and we'll search for online marketing. And there are 3,190,000 results. The first 4 results that you see here are all paid advertising results. You can see the little AD symbol that's next to the result. And people are becoming more aware of these, and they do sometimes tend to scroll away from them and not click on them as often as they used to, because they know that somebody's just paid to be put in front of them. So the very first, what we call organic results, is Online Marketing Made Simple, a step-by-step guide by Neil Patel. And then we carry on down and we see a beginner's guide. Yeah.
3 billion is number one. Wow.
And then we come down to the second result, which is the Quick Sprout Guide to Marketing. And Neil Patel is one of the founders of Quick Sprout.
Wow.
So he knows what he's doing. Okay. Yeah. So what Neil Patel did was he developed this Uber Suggest tool, and he lets you use it for free. It is gold in terms of coming into here. So if we put our phrase in here, let's put plumbing in there. Why not, eh? We've got, this is new, parking meters. Let's have a look.
I think it's because you're coming in through me. That's why. I was a bad boy. They put me in the timeout box.
Okay. So what you can see, it tells us that it's a very generic keyword. We know that, but it gets 49,500 searches a month on average in the UK. I've done a UK-based search here, not a global search. I've just done an English UK. It tells us that it's difficult to rank for, and that it's even difficult, it's hard to pay to rank for. And it tells us it probably costs you over £5 per click in an advert, like we saw the 4 that we saw, in order to be able to get somebody get to your website by putting in that phrase. But for me, I would never try and be found for that phrase. It is far too generic. You want to really drill down to one of the services or the products that you offer.
Awesome.
So
well, Andy, if you could stop share for a second, we're going to jump over and take a look at the new site. So excited. Okay, so listen, guys. So now what you've been watching and Angie's been taking you through is like the before. I'm in the health and wellness industry. I've done a lot of before and afters. I've never done a before and after on a website, but this is basically a before and after on the website. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in and check out my new website, and you're going to see the big differences. So here we go. I'm just going to switch over here. So, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. I'm going to show you first aesthetically from the outside, because it looks amazing, and I just want to show it. So let's just jump in. I'm going to show you, and let's take a look. I think we can jump right in here and go right to my website. So there we are. Yes. So here's the home page. You can see what a difference. It's just like completely different. We've got not only on the back end, which Angie will show you, but aesthetically, it's just beautiful. Right away when you come here, you know who I am and who I help and how I help them. I'm helping entrepreneurs to release their true potential. Down here on the left, we've got social proof going on. We're using the new, it's the Opt-in Monster, and I forget what it's called, but it's from Opt-in Monster, and it's their new version of social proof. Down here in the bottom right, we've got a real-time chat service that we use that comes through Front app, so that if people come here and they want to click on this, they can leave a message. It's down right now because I've already left a message. But you can talk to me real time, and it's really cool. It's not a bot. It actually comes right to my phone and lets me know that you've left a message, and I answer it real time, which is what I really want. I'm really excited. You can see, and there's a couple I see how now when we slide up, you see how we're using all the coolest techniques. The header up here stays there as you're scrolling. So it's very powerful when you're on the phone, because you can, if you want to go to any other, you don't have to scroll all the way back up to the top to get to your different categories. It's right there in front of you. But as you can see, right away we got a lot of video on here, no surprise. The core values, but you can see it's just aesthetically beautiful, right? We got social proof, all of this right down here, down to the bottom, answering questions. People that commonly ask questions. We've got my Instagram on here, we've got Facebook on here, social proof, all that cool stuff. And then just the different buttons here. What do I do? We've got the different drop downs. I'm not going to go through it all for the sake of time, but you get the idea, right? Testimonial page, the podcast page, which we're very excited about. We're just releasing, actually, this will be the next podcast on my podcast page. But, really cool. We come in here and we put the podcast, and we like to cover all the different avenues. We'll also we're in the process. We take a podcast We turn it into not only a vlog, if you will, a video log, but we turn it into a podcast, and we also turn it into a blog post. So you can see all that in there. Really, really cool stuff. You can see it's beautiful, but here's the thing. Here's why we're here. Yes, it's beautiful, right? I think we all agree it's beautiful. You come here. But the whole reason that we did this is because anybody can show you let me show you one second. I want to show you something else really cool, because there's a lot of cool stuff. So I'm just proud of Angie, and I'm showing off. Like, come to things like, if you come over here to, let's go to the blog over here. So if you look at the blog, inside of the blog post here, and let's zoom, it slows us up a little bit. And when we're on real time on the site, you don't have this lag here. This is absolutely a zoom thing here that slows it down, because I don't want you to think. But in the blog here, if we scroll down, you see, if you look at these blogs, you see how it says includes infographic here. So we don't just have the blog post, we actually have an infographic with the blog post, which really makes a difference in converting. So they can come down here and they can actually, people are visual, they can actually click this and, I just lost it, click this and it'll take them right to an infographic right there like that. So we pulled out all the stops on this site, and we've got different opt-in things. We use different opt-in things with OptTheMonster and things like this. But the key thing that you'll notice about the site, not only is it, pleasing to the eye, but we got video everywhere. And, as Angie shared recently on a training we were doing, one of the statistics that if you use video on your website, you're 53 times more likely to be found. That's massive. And so we already, I think it's only a couple weeks now we launched the site, and some of the key words that we are attacking, if you will, that I'm passionate about on our site, we're already showing up on the 3rd page of Google in like less than 2. And that's really kind of unheard of. It can take several months to start to be optimized for SEO. But a big part of it is Angie knows what she's doing. We're using the right keywords and all that SEO on the back end, and we use videos. And I'm not just up here doing videos. We do the research before I do the videos, so that what I'm speaking, we're speaking the keywords that Angie has found in the SEO research and all that. But that's out of my wheelhouse. I'll let Angie explain that to you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the master behind this site, and she's going to take you behind and show you what's really important going on. So Angie, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. You'll need to give me permission to share my screen.
Yeah, there we go. I'm a little bit of a control freak, but no, I'm just joking. There you go. Okay.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So what you should be seeing is the analytics, which is the Google Analytics, which is free, which everybody should have on the back of their site, which shows you what is going on. So what we're able to do here is compare the last sort of 3 weeks or so since the new site went live to a period, and I've chosen a period back in October last year, which is before I started to work with Real, which means it's going to give a real sort of overview of what was happening without us going in and having a look here and there and sort of seeing what was happening, because even your own visits to your website can be picked up by analytics. There's a trick that you can do to get rid of it, but we haven't done that as yet. So what we're seeing here, as I say, is 8th of April through to the 30th of April this year, compared to the 8th of October to the 30th of October last year. So same number of days to give us a true reflection on what's going on. And what is incredibly pleasing, which is what I would have expected, is we are seeing a lot of green. So if we look down here, you can see every single one of these metrics has gone green, which means that there has been an improvement of some kind. So heading back, first of all, you have users and new users. So we can see over here that back in October, most of the visitors were brand new. That's what new visitor is in blue. And then returning visitors were in green. So it's a positive measure that we're already seeing that people are revisiting the site. So, we're seeing that people are getting value from it and are now happy to come back again. So we're seeing that typically we used to get number of sessions per user. used to be just over 1. As you can see, not many people were coming back, but now it's 1.69. So we are getting returns. Hence, we've got a positive figure of 63.5% increase here. But more importantly, the volume of visitors that we're seeing has also gone up. So it's gone up by nearly 250%, which is fabulous in that respect. Not only that, they are viewing over 900% more pages. So it sort of records how many people are actually arriving on the site and then how many pages across the site they have viewed. So they're looking around the site, which is an incredibly positive bit of improvement there. So typically, number of pages per session has gone from 1.21 up to 2.13. So we have nearly double the number of pages per session, and that's an average per session. Significantly, there's a difference in the time spent on the site. So typically back in October, the average session was around 34 seconds. Not very long, doesn't give somebody very long to actually consume information from you. And this has now gone up to over 3 minutes. So this is a massive jump, massive jump. The one I'll touch on, which is intriguing sometimes, is bounce rate. Now, for those of you who don't know, bounce rate, the way that Google measures your bounce rate has changed over the years. The old method a number of years ago was if somebody arrived on your site and they left your site within the first 10 seconds, that was considered to be a bounce, because it clearly was not providing the information to the user when they first arrived on the site. The algorithm nowadays is based on if somebody arrives on your site but doesn't interact with another page, doesn't go to somewhere else on your site. So you'll see here that originally back in October, we had a bounce rate of 78.79, and we've got an improvement there. We want to see a minus figure there, and it's gone to just under 65%. But what's a bit misleading about that is because we know that people are spending over 3 minutes on the site on average, we know that if somebody is arriving, for example, on one of the blog posts that can be a good length, provide a lot of value and a lot of information, that is telling me that if they're spending more than 3 minutes on the site, even if they're not going anywhere else, they're spending a good amount of time reviewing and reading that particular article. And once they've got the information they wanted from that article, they are then leaving without going anywhere else within the site. And in some aspects, I don't have a problem with that because we're seeing returning visitors coming back. So next time maybe an article gets shared in social media, somebody might click on the link, come and read it, be happy with the information, spend the time absorbing it and disappear. And what we know from marketing is it could take up to 6 or 7 times of getting yourself in front of a potential customer before they decide that they know, like and trust you enough to perhaps want to investigate, make an inquiry or buy from you. So that's sort of the overview. Incredibly promising. As Rial said, you know, in terms of specific keywords, we will come back and do a review on that in a few months' time, because it can take anything from 6 to 9 months to really make headway. Fingers crossed we might see a response sooner than that, so it might be we're only a couple of months away from getting back to you and doing a bit more in depth in terms of the keywords we're being found for. So there we go.
Hey, awesome. So if you'll stop sharing, Angie.
Yeah.
Awesome. So champions, as you can see, I would think we all agree, those are like, I love how the word Angie used, what was the word you just kept using? Not phenomenal, but amazing, not amazing, but it's outstanding, whatever it is. You can see those results all green across the board, but huge, massive, that's the word she uses, massive improvements. And, you know, I really wanted to do this for you because I don't want you guys to get ripped off. And, you know, as beautiful as my site is on the outside, there is a lot of people that can actually give you a site that looks beautiful. And it looks really cool and everything, but it's not doing anything on the back end. And, you know, the results we're getting, there's people that are clients of mine, and Angie's done a haul over as a favor for me, you know, and Their sites have been up a lot longer than mine, some of them years, and they have no green. And in fact, sometimes we found, Angie, some of them didn't even have analytics attached to it, which is unheard of. So I just want you to be aware, be wary when you're out there shopping to get a website done. Of course, I am a huge fan of Angie. If you want it done right, and you want it done right the right time, the first time, so you're not paying extra, I highly recommend you come get Angie. So with that said, Angie, once again, how can people find you if they want you to take care of them and set them up for success?
Okay, thank you. So social media wise, my business is Profit Masters Limited. That's available on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I am simply Angie J. Stewart. I think I might have Gilbert in brackets because that was my maiden name. Email-wise, it's Angie, which is ANGIE, at profitmastersltd.com. So Profit Masters Limited, but shortened ltd.com. Simple as that. We'd love to hear from anybody that would like to have a chat.
Yay, awesome. And that's great. So Angie, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if anybody's watching this podcast, let's just say, and if they reach out and they give you the special code, do you want to give them a discount or something if they want to take one of your packages or something like that, if they want to take action? Or?
Yeah, I'm happy that for, bearing in mind I need to put a time frame on this, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I would say the first 3 people that reach out to me, I will offer a 20% discount.
Woo! That's huge. That's awesome. Thank you, Angie. I know I put you on the spot with that. But so the first 3, and I love that you picked 3 because those of you know me, 3 is my number. So that's awesome. So with that said, guys, I really appreciate you taking time to listen, watch, or read this podcast because we put it out on all different platforms to serve you however you want to be served. Once again, my name's Coach Real, and this is Getting Real with Real, where we get real, vulnerable, and authentic. Please subscribe to my podcast so you don't miss any. You can follow me and find me on my social media. All my social media is at Real Andrews, and just my name, RealAndrews. And of course, now that I have this awesome site, the best place to find me is just go to my mothership, go to www.realandrews.com. It's got all my links to everything. You can find everything you need there. I'm happy to serve you as well. You can schedule a free call with me. We'll meet on a Zoom. We'll talk about your goals and how I can serve you, and you'll come up with a plan of attack to help you achieve them. So with that said, I'll believe in you too, believe in yourself. Thanks again, Angie, for taking time to do this and show up. I know life is crazy over there. I think it's like, I don't even know what time of the day it is there. And I love you guys. I'll see you on the flip side. Take care. God bless. Boom. All right. Stop that.